The Winner's Code. Unlock what sets you apart. Written and published by Echo Elevate. Introduction. The Winner's Code. Winners aren't born, they're built. This book is your blueprint. You're here because something inside you refuses to settle. Maybe you've tasted success, or maybe you're still chasing it. Either way, you know there's more clarity, more strength, more impact. That's what the Winner's Code is all about. In the chapters ahead, you'll discover what sets winners apart, not just in sports, business, or leadership, but in everyday life. This book is not about cliches or empty motivation. It's about mindset, discipline, and the real inner code that high performers live by, often without even realizing it. You'll learn why belief matters more than background, why purpose is stronger than pressure, and why habits, not talent, create long-term success. Each chapter is designed to be clear, practical, and powerful. No fluff, no filler, just real lessons from real winners, delivered in a way that's easy to absorb and apply. Whether you're building a career, growing a business, or simply trying to become the best version of yourself, this book will give you the tools to shift your thinking, sharpen your focus, and stay consistent when it matters most. You'll hear stories, you'll get strategies, and you'll walk away with a clearer path toward the life you know you're capable of living. But let me be clear, this is not a shortcut, one that rewires how you think, act, and lead, so you can win with integrity, clarity, and purpose. So take a breath, lock in, and get ready to decode what makes winners win. Let's begin. Chapter 1. What makes a winner? Let's begin with a question you may have asked yourself before. Why do some people win consistently, while others struggle just to stay in the game? Is it luck? Is it talent? Is it timing? We've all seen people with great potential burn out, and we've seen others, maybe less gifted, rise to the top and stay there. So what's the real difference? The truth is, winners are not defined by what they have. They're defined by how they think, how they act, and how they respond to life. In this chapter, we'll explore the foundation of winning, what makes someone not just succeed once, but repeat it. You'll hear stories, gain fresh insights, and learn how to apply these lessons in your own life, no matter where you're starting from. The illusion of talent. Let's begin by breaking a myth. Talent matters, but it's not enough. If talent alone made winners, the world would look very different. Some of the most successful people in history were not the most naturally gifted. Michael Jordan didn't make his high school varsity basketball team on his first try. Oprah Winfrey was told she was unfit for TV. Steve Jobs was once fired from the company he founded. What these people had wasn't just skill, it was something deeper, a mindset, a code. They knew how to show up when things got tough. They knew how to learn, adapt, and keep moving forward. So what does that mean for us? It means you don't need to be born with an advantage. You just need to develop the right approach. Winners think differently. There's a pattern to winning, and it starts in the mind. Winners don't see problems as roadblocks. They see them as puzzles. When something goes wrong, most people get frustrated. Winners get curious. They ask, what can I learn from this? They don't let fear guide their decisions. They act based on values, not emotions. For example, think of Serena Williams. She wasn't just reacting to each match. She was working from a bigger picture, training harder, studying the game, learning her opponents, improving herself every single day. The takeaway? Winners develop a mindset of growth. They are constantly becoming better. The 3 core beliefs of a winner. Let's go even deeper. After years of research, observation, and coaching, I've found that true winners share 3 core beliefs. Let's look at each one. 1. It's up to me. Winners take ownership. They don't blame the system, their past, or other people. They understand that change begins with them. Listen to the story of David Goggins, a former Navy SEAL and endurance athlete. He grew up facing poverty, abuse, and racism. By his own admission, he was going nowhere fast, but one day, he decided to stop blaming life and start training his mind and body. The shift wasn't instant, but it was real. He transformed. Today he's known for doing ultramarathons, pulling off extreme feats, and inspiring millions. Ownership changes everything. 2. I can get better. This belief fuels consistency. Winners don't need to be the best today, but they believe they can improve, and they're willing to put in the work. This mindset helped Thomas Edison. He failed over 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. When asked about it, he said, "I didn't fail. I just found 1,000 ways that didn't work." That's not optimism, that's strategy. Growth isn't magic, it's method. Winners trust the process, knowing each day of practice moves them forward. 3. It's worth it. Winning isn't easy. It costs something. Time, energy, sacrifice. Winners believe the reward is worth it. They have a reason to push, a vision that pulls them, something that matters more than comfort. Without this belief, they would quit. But with it, they rise above excuses. Take Malala Yousafzai. As a young girl, she risked her life to fight for education. She could have stayed silent, but she believed her cause was worth the risk. She became the youngest Nobel Peace Prize winner in history. Purpose powers perseverance. Habits over hype. Now that we've talked about mindset, let's talk about behavior. Winning isn't a one-time event. It's a lifestyle. That lifestyle is shaped by habits. Show me someone's habits, and I'll show you their future. Winners build routines that serve their goals. They wake up earlier. They plan their days. They train when no one's watching. And they do it even when they don't feel like it. That's what makes the difference. Because let's be honest, everyone feels tired. Everyone gets discouraged. But winners don't wait to feel inspired. They move anyway. You might be thinking, this all sounds good, but where do I start? Here's the good news. You start with one small choice at a time. Winning doesn't happen in a day, but it does happen daily. Each time you choose discipline over distraction, effort over excuses, focus over comfort, you reinforce the code. Even if no one sees it yet, you're building something strong. A quick story, the 1% edge. Let me tell you a short story from the world of cycling. For years, the British cycling team was terrible. They hadn't won a major race in over a century. Then a new coach arrived. His name was Dave Brailsford. He didn't overhaul the entire system overnight. Instead, he focused on what he called the aggregation of marginal gains. That means improving everything by just 1%. They improved the bike seats, the nutrition, the pillows the riders slept on, even how they washed their hands. The result? A few years later, they dominated the Tour de France and Olympic Games. Small improvements, big wins. That's how winners operate, bringing it all together. So let's recap. Winners think differently. They build habits that match their goals, and they believe in 3 things. I can get better. It's worth it. They act with purpose, not pressure. They learn from failure, and they keep showing up, especially when it's hard. You don't need to be perfect to be a winner. You just need to start thinking and acting like one every single day. This book is your guide to that code. Each chapter will dig deeper into the principles we introduced today. You'll get practical tools, real stories, and a clear path forward. You're not here by accident. You're here because something inside you knows you're meant for more. Now let's unlock what makes that possible. Let's move to the next chapter. Chapter 2. The Power of Self-Belief. Before anyone else can believe in you, you have to believe in yourself. That's where it all begins. Before the strategies, before the routines, before the results, there is belief. Self-belief is the root of every win. Without it, no plan will work. With it, even the impossible starts to look possible. But here's the truth most people miss. Self-belief is not a personality trait. It's a skill. And like any skill, it can be learned, strengthened, and mastered. In this chapter, we'll explore how winners build self-belief, even when they're doubted, discouraged, or defeated. You'll learn what it really means to back yourself, how to rebuild belief when it's been broken, and why it's the most important voice in your life. The voice that shapes your life. Let's start with something simple. Every day there's a voice in your head. Sometimes it lifts you up. Sometimes it tears you down. That voice is your internal dialogue, your self-talk. And here's the key. The way you talk to yourself determines the way you show up in life. Think about it. If you constantly tell yourself, "I'm not good enough. I always mess things up. This probably won't work," then why would you even try? But if your internal voice says, "I've got this. I've failed before, and I came back stronger. One step at a time. Let's go." Suddenly, you move differently. You think sharper. You stand taller. Winners train that voice. They coach themselves from the inside out. From doubt to confidence. A real story. Let me tell you about a man named Howard Schultz. He grew up in public housing. His father was a truck driver who never had steady work. There was no silver spoon, no special connections. But Howard believed he could create something bigger. He walked into a small coffee shop in Seattle. He had a vision, not just to sell coffee, but to create a place where people could connect, a place with warmth, culture, and community. That coffee shop became Starbucks. Was it easy? No. He was rejected by over 200 investors. People said it would never work, but he kept showing up because he believed not just in the business, but in himself. That belief changed his life, and it changed the way the world drinks coffee. What self-belief is, and what it's not. Let's clear something up. Self-belief is not arrogance. It's not pretending to be perfect, and it's not walking around like you have all the answers. Self-belief is quiet, grounded, unshakable. It's the inner conviction that says, no matter what comes, I can handle it. Not because you're flawless, but because you're committed. It's knowing you don't have to have all the answers today. You just need to trust that you'll figure them out. Why most people struggle to believe. If self-belief is so powerful, why do so many people struggle with it? There are 3 common reasons. Past failures. We've all made mistakes, but instead of learning from them, some people carry them like weights. They let one bad moment define their entire future. Winners see failure as feedback, not a final sentence. They don't say, I failed, so I'm a failure. They say, I failed, so I'm learning. Sometimes the people around us don't believe in us either. Maybe it's family. Maybe it's coworker. Maybe it's culture. But here's the truth. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You just need to stop listening to the ones who don't. Winners create internal proof that drowns out external noise. 3. Perfectionism. Some people never feel ready. They wait to be perfect before they start. But confidence isn't built in silence. It's built in motion. You don't become confident and then act. You act. And that's what builds confidence. How winners build self-belief. Let's make this practical. Here are 3 steps you can start today. Step 1. Collect small wins. Start with something simple. Wake up on time. Finish the workout. Speak up in a meeting. Each win, no matter how small, is proof. And proof builds belief. Winners don't wait for big moments to feel strong. They stack little wins until belief becomes natural. Step 2. Speak the truth, not the fear. Start catching your self-talk. Instead of saying, I can't do this, try, this is hard, but I've handled hard things before. Don't lie to yourself. Speak truth with strength. Truth, you've overcome a lot, you've grown, you're still standing. That's not luck, that's power. Step 3. Visualize the win. Top athletes do this. So do top leaders. Take a moment each day to close your eyes and imagine yourself succeeding. Not just the result, but the process, the preparation, the sweat, the finish. Your brain begins to believe what you rehearse. And once your mind sees it, your body starts chasing it. A quick story, the unlikely champion. There's a story from the 2000 Olympics. An unknown wrestler named Rulon Gardner faced the reigning champion, Alexander Karelin. Karelin hadn't lost in 13 years. He was considered unbeatable. No one gave Rulon a chance. But Rulon had trained, mentally and physically. He believed he could win, even if no one else did. The match was tight. Every move mattered. In the final moments, Rulon scored and held his ground. He won. The world was shocked. But Rulon wasn't, because he believed long before anyone else did. You don't have to fake it. A final note. You don't need to fake confidence. You just need to train belief, like a muscle. Every time you follow through on your word, every time you try again after failing, every time you choose effort over excuse, you get stronger. Confidence is not something you wait for. It's something you build, one decision at a time. Bringing it all together. Let's review. Self-belief is the foundation of all winning. It shapes how you think, how you act, and how you bounce back. It's not about being the loudest. It's about being the most grounded. It's not about pretending. It's about preparing. And most of all, it's not something you're born with. It's something you build. So starting today, believe in your ability to grow. Believe that your voice matters. Believe that your future is not defined by your past. Because the person who believes in themselves can't be stopped for long. And that right there is part of the code. Let's move forward. Chapter 3. Purpose over pressure. Pressure pushes. Purpose pulls. When life gets hard, and it will, something has to keep you going. For most people, it's pressure. Deadlines. Expectations. Stress. The fear of failure. But for winners, it's something different. Something stronger. Winners are pulled forward by purpose. They don't just react to life. They respond with intention. They don't run from fear. They run toward meaning. In this chapter, We'll explore how a clear purpose can outperform pressure. You'll learn how to discover your deeper why, how to use it as fuel, and how purpose protects your peace in high-stakes situations. Let's get into it. Pressure is a temporary push. Let's start with pressure. It's powerful, but short-lived. Pressure can make you act fast. It can even make you perform, but it drains you. It tightens your chest. It clouds your thinking. Pressure makes you reactive instead of intentional. Think about a student who crams for an exam the night before. They may pass the test, but the stress takes a toll. There's no joy in it, no meaning, just survival. Now compare that to someone studying because they want to become a doctor and serve people. They may feel pressure too, but their purpose gives it direction. They're not just avoiding failure. They're pursuing a mission. That difference matters, because purpose sustains what pressure only starts. Real-world example, Viktor Frankl. One of the most powerful examples of purpose over pressure comes from Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor. He was imprisoned in Nazi concentration camps, where he lost his family, his freedom, and nearly his life. But even in that nightmare, Frankl found a reason to live. He believed he still had work to do, his book to finish, Patience to Help, Meaning to Explore. He wrote, "Those who have a why to live can bear almost any how." His story proves something profound. You can survive almost anything if you have a reason that's bigger than the pain. What is purpose? Let's define it clearly. Purpose is not a job. It's not a title. It's not a goal on a checklist. Purpose is your reason. It's your internal compass. It's the thing that reminds you why you're doing what you're doing, especially when things get hard. Sometimes it's a quiet whisper that says, "Keep going. This matters." How winners find their purpose. Winners don't wait for purpose to appear. They look for it, they live it, and they evolve with it. Here are 3 ways winners discover purpose. 1. They ask deeper questions. Winners don't just ask, "What should I do?" They ask, "Why does this matter to me?" They get clear on what lights them up, what breaks their heart, what they want to leave behind. Purpose often hides in these answers. 2. They pay attention to pain. Strangely enough, pain can point to purpose. Many leaders found their mission through struggle. A tough childhood, a health crisis, a failure that taught them something vital. Instead of hiding the pain, they used it. They turned wounds into wisdom. 3. They serve something bigger. Purpose is rarely just about you. It's about who you can impact. When your goal is to lift others, stay true to your values, or leave the world better, you tap into a deeper strength. That's the kind of purpose that doesn't quit when life gets heavy. A story, Simone Biles, and the power of purpose. Let's talk about Simone Biles, one of the greatest gymnasts in history. During the 2021 Olympics, she shocked the world by stepping away from competition to protect her mental health. She faced enormous pressure to perform. The world was watching. Expectations were sky high, but she chose purpose. She knew her health and safety meant more than a gold medal. In that moment, she redefined what it means to win. Her purpose, to advocate for mental health and lead by example, was more important than the pressure to perform. That's strength. That's clarity. That's purpose over pressure. How to anchor yourself in purpose. Now, how can you start building your life around purpose? Here are 3 simple yet powerful steps. Step 1. Define what matters most. Ask yourself, what do I care deeply about? Who do I want to impact? What would I do even if I wasn't paid for it? Your answers will give you clues. Write them down. Revisit them often. Step 2. Turn purpose into practice. Purpose alone isn't enough. You must connect it to action. If your purpose is to help others, start with one person today. If your purpose is to lead, show up with integrity in your next decision. If your purpose is to create, start building now. Don't wait for perfect. Start with purpose. Step 3. Remind yourself daily. Purpose is like a flame. It must be protected and fed. Create reminders in your environment. Set goals that align with your mission. Surround yourself with people who support your why. When life gets loud, let purpose speak louder. Purpose creates peace. There's one more reason purpose matters. It brings peace in chaos. When you're living on purpose, you're less shaken by pressure. You stop chasing approval. You stop fearing failure. You know why you're here, and that clarity becomes your calm. Winners don't need life to be easy. They just need life to be meaningful. Bringing it all together, let's recap. Pressure is real, but it's not reliable. It fades. It burns you out. It turns joy into a job. Purpose, on the other hand, is fuel. It's focus. It's fire with direction. When you live on purpose, you become more resilient. You make better decisions. You stay steady when others quit. So don't let pressure decide your pace. Let purpose define your path. Whatever your goal, make sure it's anchored in something deeper. Because when you move with purpose, you don't just win. You lead. You last. You leave something that matters. And that's part of the code. Let's continue. Chapter 4. Discipline is destiny. You will not rise to the level of your goals. You will fall to the level of your discipline. Winners know this truth deep down. Success doesn't come from big dreams alone. It comes from the small, repeated choices you make, especially when no one's watching. Discipline is what separates the people who want from the people who win. It's the invisible force that turns potential into performance. It's not glamorous, but it's powerful. In this chapter, we'll explore why discipline is the most dependable path to success, how to build it step by step, and how it rewires your future in ways motivation never could. Why discipline beats motivation. We live in a world obsessed with motivation. Quotes, pep talks, short bursts of hype, but motivation fades. One bad night's sleep, one difficult day, and it's gone. Discipline, though? Discipline stays. It doesn't depend on how you feel. It depends on who you've decided to be. Winners know they won't always feel inspired, so they don't rely on feelings. They rely on habits, commitments, structure. That's how they show up, even on the hard days. A story. Kobe Bryant and the 4 a.m. workouts. Let's look at a real example. Kobe Bryant. He was one of the greatest basketball players of all time. But it wasn't just talent, it was his discipline. Kobe would wake up at 4 a.m. to train. While other players were still sleeping, he was already in the gym, shooting, running, practicing the same move 100 times. Someone once asked him, "Why do you work like that? You're already at the top." He answered, "Because I want it more. Because I refuse to let someone outwork me. Because greatness demands everything." That's discipline. It's not flashy, it's not loud, but it's consistent, and it delivers. What discipline actually is. Let's define it clearly. Discipline is not punishment. It's not about suffering or being hard on yourself. Discipline is training. It's choosing what matters most over what feels good right now. It's setting a standard and keeping it. It's saying, I don't skip workouts because I'm tired. I do them because I said I would. It's saying, I don't scroll my day away. I show up for my goals. Discipline is not about perfection. It's about showing up again and again and again. Small choices shape your destiny. Waking up early. Saying no to distractions. Finishing what you start. Preparing when others wing it. These don't look life-changing in the moment, but over time they are. Think of discipline like compound interest. Each small act stacks on the last. You may not notice the change right away, but one day you wake up ahead of the pack. Why most people struggle with discipline. If discipline is so powerful, why do most people avoid it? Here are 3 reasons. 1. They associate it with pain. People think discipline means giving up freedom, but the truth is the opposite. Lack of discipline leads to chaos, missed deadlines, poor health, broken promises. Discipline creates freedom. Freedom to move, to grow, to succeed on your own terms. 2. They aim too big, too fast. A lot of people start with too much. They try to change everything in a week. Wake up at 5, work out, eat clean, meditate, read, all at once. They burn out, then quit. Winners build slowly. They choose one habit, master it, then add the next. 3. They rely on emotion. Some people only act when they feel like it. But discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It asks, what did you commit to? That shift changes everything. How to build unshakable discipline. Let's get practical. Here are 4 steps to build discipline that lasts. Step 1. Start with a clear reason. Discipline needs a why. Ask yourself, what do I want? Why does it matter? What's the cost if I don't do this? The stronger your reason, the easier it is to stay committed. Step 2. Design your environment. Make the right choice, the easy choice. Want to eat healthy? Keep junk food out of reach. Want to focus? Silence your phone, clear your space. Want to write daily? Set a time, create a ritual. Your environment should support your discipline, not fight it. Step 3. Use friction to your advantage. Add resistance to the habits you want to avoid. Delete distracting apps. Block certain sites. Turn off notifications. At the same time, remove friction from the habits you want to build. Lay out your workout clothes the night before. Keep your goals visible. Make it simple to start. Step 4. Track, adjust, and repeat. Discipline isn't about never failing. It's about adjusting quickly when you do. Track your progress. Celebrate consistency. And if you slip, don't spiral. Just get back on track. That's real discipline. A powerful reminder. Willpower is finite. Systems are not. Here's a secret top performers know. Willpower is a limited resource. It runs out, especially under stress. That's why winners build systems, routines, plans, and habits that carry them through, even when motivation fades. They don't wake up and decide every day. They just do. Discipline becomes their autopilot. A story of quiet strength. Jocko Willink. Jocko Willink is a retired Navy SEAL and leadership coach. Every morning, he posts a photo of his watch at 4:30 a.m. It's his signal to the world and to himself that the day has begun. No excuses, no delays, just action. His mantra, discipline equals freedom. It's true. The more disciplined you are, the more control you have over your time, your energy, your life. Discipline isn't rigid, it's resilient. Let's be clear. Discipline isn't about being robotic. It's about being resilient. You'll have off days, busy weeks, unexpected setbacks. Discipline doesn't mean you never bend. It means you don't break. You stay rooted, grounded, clear, because you know who you are and you know what you're building. Bringing it all together. So let's review. Discipline is not about punishment. It's about power. The power to say yes to your future and no to your distractions. It's what turns your goals into results. It's what carries you when feelings fade. And it's not something you're born with. It's something you build. One decision at a time. One day at a time. One standard at a time. So ask yourself today, what do I stand for? What am I building? And what small step can I commit to, no matter what? Because in the end, it's not the most gifted who win. It's the most disciplined. And that, without a doubt, is part of the code. Let's move forward. Chapter 5. Think big, start small. Big dreams are built on small steps. We all want something more, a bigger life, a better version of ourselves, greater impact, freedom, or fulfillment. And there's nothing wrong with dreaming big. In fact, you should. Winners dream big, but they know how to start small. They understand that a vision without action is just a wish, and action without structure is just noise. In this chapter, we'll explore how to dream fearlessly while building steadily. You'll learn how to stay ambitious without becoming overwhelmed, and how the small things you do today shape the big results you'll see tomorrow. The trap of thinking too big. Let's start with a common trap, getting paralyzed by the size of the dream. We've all felt it. You imagine something great, launching a business, writing a book, changing your health, building wealth. But then you look at where you are right now, and it feels so far away. The gap between here and there feels overwhelming. And when that happens, most people do one of two things. They procrastinate, saying someday while never starting, or they try to do everything at once, get burned out and quit. Winners don't fall for that. They stay connected to the big vision, but they move one small step at a time. That's the code: clarity and vision, simplicity and action. A story. Amazon started with books. Let's look at a story you might know. Jeff Bezos had a massive vision to build the world's largest online store, but he didn't start by trying to sell everything. He started with one thing: books. Why? Because they were easy to ship, they had universal demand, and they were a manageable way to test his idea. One product, one system, one step. That small start became Amazon, one of the most powerful companies on earth. The lesson? Start with what you can manage. Build momentum, then grow. Why small starts work. There's real science behind why small starts are so effective. When you start small, you lower resistance. You avoid overwhelm. You build confidence with every step. Small steps create quick wins, and quick wins build long-term belief. Winners use this to their advantage. They know the secret isn't doing everything. It's doing something, and doing it consistently. Think big. See the destinationage. See the destinationage. Think big. See the destinationage. Traversal byquai. And pitnada justans. Fermios. Start small. Take the first step. Here's a simple way to picture this. Imagine your big goal is a mountain. At the top is your dream life. But from the base, it looks massive, intimidating. You don't need to figure out every twist and turn right away. You just need to take the first step. That step might be opening a savings account, writing the first page, making one sales call, learning the first skill, waking up on time. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to move you forward. Because once you start, clarity grows. The compound effect. There's a principle known as the compound effect. It says, small, smart choices, repeated consistently over time, lead to massive results. Here's an example. Read 10 pages a day. That's 3,650 pages a year, about 12 to 15 books. Save $5 a day. That's over $1,800 in a year. Do 20 push-ups a day. That's over $7,000 a year, and a stronger body. These aren't flashy actions, but they work because they add up. Winners trust the process. They stay consistent with small things, while keeping their eyes on the big picture. The power of momentum. Think of a train. When it's still, it can be blocked by a single brick on the track. But once it's moving, once momentum builds, that same train can smash through walls. Starting small builds that momentum. You begin to feel progress. You see results. And suddenly, your belief grows faster than your fear. Common excuses that kill big dreams. Let's talk about the most common excuse that stops people from starting. I don't have enough time. But here's the truth. You don't need hours. You just need minutes. You don't need to change your life in a day. You just need to start changing your day. Another excuse is, I don't know where to begin. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. The map becomes clear as you move. Chris Guillebeau started a movement called the $100 Startup. He profiled dozens of entrepreneurs who built businesses with no funding, no fancy tools, just a small start and a big vision. One woman started a fitness brand from her living room. Another began selling homemade soap at farmers markets. They didn't wait for investors or perfect plans. They just started. Now many of those small ideas earn 6 and 7 figures. Action over analysis. Winners know this secret. Clarity comes from action, not overthinking. You don't need a flawless strategy to begin. You just need to move. Take the first step, then the next, then the next. Soon you'll look back and realize how far you've come. Practical tools. How to start small. Here are 3 ways to apply this today. 1. Set micro goals. Break big goals into small daily tasks. Instead of write a book, try write 200 words today. Instead of get in shape, try walk for 15 minutes. Small goals lower resistance and raise success. 2. Schedule short wins. Block 15-30 minutes a day to work on your goal. Make it non-negotiable. Even a little focus time can create big change over months. 3. Track your progress. Use a journal, checklist, or app. Each check mark builds momentum. Each win reminds you, this is working. Bringing it all together. So let's wrap this up. Big dreams matter, but they only come to life through small steps. Think big. Set goals that inspire you. Start small. Take steps that are doable. Stay steady. Trust the process. This is how winners move. Not by magic, not by waiting, but by taking action. One small step at a time. Your dream isn't too far away. It's just one choice closer. Start today. Stay consistent, and let the small steps carry you to something great. That's the winner's code. Let's move forward. Chapter 6. Fail forward. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. Every winner has a history of losses. Every champion has failed. Often, deeply. But what sets them apart isn't the failure. It's how they respond to it. Winners fail forward. They don't let failure define them. They let it refine them. They learn, adjust, and rise stronger. In this chapter, we'll explore the hidden power of failure, why it's essential for growth, and how to bounce back smarter, not just faster. Because when you understand failure differently, you unlock a deeper kind of resilience. Let's begin. The fear that stops most people. Let's face it, most people aren't afraid of the work. They're afraid of the fall, afraid of looking foolish, afraid of trying and not making it, afraid of what others will think. That fear is powerful. It keeps people small. It convinces them to stay safe and stay silent. But here's the truth. If you're not failing, you're not stretching, you're not pushing hard enough, you're not stepping outside the comfort zone where real growth lives. A story. Walt Disney and the Bankrupt Dream. Before Disney was a global empire, Walt Disney was just a young animator with big ideas. His first studio, Laugh-O-Gram Films, went bankrupt. He had almost no money, and he even lived on canned beans while sleeping in his office. But he kept dreaming, he kept drawing, he kept trying. Eventually, he created Mickey Mouse. And from that mouse, he built a legacy. Walt Disney once said, "I think it's important to have a good hard failure when you're young." I learned a lot out of that, because it makes you kind of aware of what can happen to you. Failure was his teacher, not his enemy. What failing forward means. Failing forward doesn't mean enjoying failure. It means learning from it. It means getting better because of it, not bitter because of it. Here's what failing forward looks like. You try, you fall, you reflect, you adjust, you try again with more wisdom. That cycle builds more than skill. It builds grit, it builds leadership, it builds depth. Why most people stay stuck in failure. There are 3 common traps people fall into after failure. They think, I failed, so I must be a failure. That's a lie. You're not your result. 1 loss doesn't cancel your potential. 2, they stop trying. Some people fail once and quit forever. But winners see failure as data, as feedback, as part of the journey, not the end of it. 3, they don't change anything. Repeating the same actions and expecting different results? That's not growth. That's spinning in circles. Winners ask, what can I learn from this? And then they do something with the answer. The bounce-back blueprint. Let's make this practical. Here's a 5-step process to fail forward the way winners do. Step 1. Feel it fully. Don't pretend it didn't hurt. Failure stings. It's okay to feel disappointed, frustrated, even embarrassed. But don't unpack and live there. Feel it, then move. Step 2. Own what's yours. Be honest. What did you control? What decisions led here? Blaming doesn't build anything, but ownership does. Step 3. Extract the lesson. Ask yourself, what worked? What didn't? What would I do differently next time? The lesson is the gift hidden inside the failure. Don't waste it. Step 4. Adjust your strategy. Now apply what you learned. Change the plan. Tweak the approach. Keep the goal, but shift the method. Winners adapt. That's how they grow. Step 5. Take the next step. This part is crucial. Even if it's small, move forward. Don't let the failure freeze you. Let it fuel you. A real story. Sara Blakely and rejection. Sara Blakely, the founder of Spanx, is one of the most successful self-made women in business. Before her breakthrough, she sold fax machines door to door. She heard no thousands of times. But she learned to see rejection differently. As a child, her father would ask at dinner, "What did you fail at today?" And if she had an answer, he'd celebrate it. That changed her mindset. She stopped fearing failure and started chasing growth. Today, her billion-dollar brand exists because she failed forward, reframing failure as a gift. Winners don't just survive failure, they thank it. Why? Because it reveals weak points. It exposes blind spots. It teaches what success often hides. Failure builds muscle that comfort never could. The most impactful people you know, leaders, athletes, creators, all have failure stories. You just don't always see them, but they're there, and they matter. What you risk if you avoid failure. Here's something no one talks about enough. The cost of playing it safe is often greater than the cost of failing. If you avoid risk forever, you miss growth, you miss impact, you miss discovering how far you could go. So don't avoid failure, just learn to fall with purpose. Bringing it all together, let's recap. Failure is not your enemy, it's your teacher, your mirror, your sharpening tool. To fail forward means you fall with humility, you learn with clarity, you rise with power, you don't quit, you don't hide, you extract value and keep moving. Because in the end, it's not the ones who never fall who win, it's the ones who rise every time they do. Fall forward, learn fast, move strong, that's how winners grow. Let's keep going. Chapter 7. Who you surround yourself with. Show me your circle, and I'll show you your future. No matter how driven, disciplined, or talented you are, you cannot win alone. Winners know this. That's why they're intentional about who they let into their world. Your environment shapes your energy. Your relationships either push you forward or pull you down. They either sharpen you or slowly dull your edge. In this chapter, we'll explore the power of your inner circle. You'll learn how to recognize the people who help you grow, how to protect your energy, and how winners build support systems that multiply their success. The hidden influence of your circle. Let's start with something simple. You become like the people you spend the most time with. If you spend time with 5 negative people, you'll start seeing the world through a negative lens. If your friends avoid responsibility, you'll begin lowering your own standards. But if you surround yourself with people who think big, take action, and stay grounded, you'll start leveling up without even realizing it. Environment isn't neutral. It's either lifting you or limiting you. A story. Oprah's Circle of Growth. Oprah Winfrey is one of the most successful media personalities in history. But her story wasn't built alone. Early in her career, she surrounded herself with mentors, advisors, and people who believed in her, long before she became a household name. One of her closest confidants, Maya Angelou, helped guide her through the highs and lows of fame. Their relationship was more than friendship. It was fuel. Oprah once said, "Surround yourself only with people who are going to lift you higher." That wasn't just advice. It was strategy. 3 types of people you need around you. To grow into your highest potential, you need the right mix of people in your life. Winners look for 3 key types. 1. The builders. These are the people who support you. They believe in your vision, speak life into you, and help you stay grounded. They're not there to impress you. They're there to build you. A builder will ask you tough questions, hold you accountable, celebrate your progress, and challenge your excuses. 2. The mentors. Mentors offer guidance and wisdom. They've been where you're going, or at least walked a similar path. You don't need 100 mentors. 1 or 2 who truly care are enough. They help you avoid mistakes, make smarter decisions, and stay focused on your long game. Mentors don't just give advice. They give perspective. 3. The stretchers. These people raise your standards. They live at the next level and inspire you to grow. Maybe it's someone more fit, more focused, or further ahead in your field. Being around them challenges your comfort zone. It pushes you to improve. Stretchers don't make you feel small. They show you what's possible. The warning signs of toxic circles. Not everyone in your life is helping you win. Some people may be holding you back without even meaning to. Here are a few warning signs. 1. They drain your energy. After spending time with them, you feel tired, discouraged, or insecure. Winners pay attention to how people make them feel after the conversation. 2. They downplay your dreams. If someone constantly says things like, "That's unrealistic," "Don't get your hopes up," or "Why try that?" they're not protecting you. They're projecting their fear. 3. They celebrate your comfort, not your growth. Real friends want to see you grow, even when it's uncomfortable. Toxic ones want you to stay where they are. You don't need to cut everyone out, but you do need to protect your energy. Your circle is your climate. A real story. The influence of Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn, one of the most respected personal development teachers, said something simple but life-changing. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That idea shaped how millions of people think about relationships. He taught that if you want to change your life, change your circle. Surround yourself with people who think like winners, work like winners, and live with purpose. Their habits will become your habits. Their language will become your language. Their standards will raise yours without a single speech. How to upgrade your circle. Let's get practical. Here are 4 steps you can take right now. Step 1. Audit your relationships. Take a moment to reflect. Who lifts you up? Who pulls you down? Who challenges you in healthy ways? Write it down. Patterns will appear. Step 2. Set better boundaries. You don't need to cut everyone off, but you do need to manage access. Some people are better at a distance. You can love them, but you don't have to live by their energy. Guard your mind like you guard your home. Step 3. Seek out growth spaces. Join communities, masterminds, or groups where growth is the goal. Look for people who think big, who act with discipline, who care about something more than just fitting in. Growth happens faster when it's shared. Step 4. Be the person you want to attract. You attract what you are. If you want a circle of driven, honest, focused people, become one first. Lead with integrity. Serve with purpose. Stay humble but hungry. The right people will find you when you're becoming the right person yourself. You're not meant to do this alone. Even the strongest people need support. Winners lean on others, not because they're weak, but because they're wise. Behind every great success, you'll find a team. People who gave feedback, who believed, who stood by when things got tough. Let that remind you, asking for help isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Bringing it all together. Let's review. Your circle matters. It shapes your thoughts, habits, and future. It can pull you up or hold you back. Winners are intentional with who they listen to, learn from, and lean on. They surround themselves with builders who support, mentors who guide, stretchers who inspire. They protect their peace. They upgrade their environment. And most importantly, they show up as the kind of person they want to be around. You don't have to walk this journey alone. Just make sure you're walking with the right people. That's the winner's code. Let's move forward. Chapter 8. The Focus Formula. Focus is the hidden superpower of every winner. In a world full of noise, distractions, and endless options, the ability to focus has never been more important and more rare. Winners know this. They don't just work hard, they work deep. They understand that doing less, but with more clarity, leads to more results. Focus is not just a skill, it's a strategy. And in this chapter, we're going to break it down. You'll learn why focus is your greatest asset, how to strengthen it, and how to create an environment that supports deep, intentional work day after day. Why focus wins. Let's start with the big picture. Success doesn't come from doing everything. It comes from doing the right things repeatedly. Focus helps you prioritize what matters most, avoid unnecessary stress, maximize results with fewer distractions, protect your energy and time. Without focus, even the most talented people get stuck in cycles of busyness, constantly moving, but not moving forward. Winners don't chase everything. They choose what matters. A story. Warren Buffett's 5-25 rule. Warren Buffett is one of the richest men in the world, but his biggest secret isn't money. It's focus. He once gave advice to his pilot, Mike Flint. He told him to list his top 25 career goals. Then, circle the 5 most important. Buffett then said, everything you didn't circle, avoid at all costs. Why? Because the biggest distractions aren't bad things. They're the good things that steal your energy from the great ones. That's the focus formula. Decide, eliminate, lock in. The myth of multitasking. A lot of people think multitasking makes them more productive, but science says otherwise. Studies show that multitasking reduces focus, lowers IQ, while working, increases errors, slows down actual progress. In short, you're not doing more. You're doing everything worse. Winners don't multitask. They single task with intensity. They choose one thing, give it everything, then move to the next. The 3 layers of focus. To master focus, you need to understand its structure. There are 3 key layers. 1. Clarity. This is knowing what to focus on. Without clarity, focus is impossible. Ask yourself, what's my most important goal this season? What task moves that forward today? What can I ignore or remove? Winners aren't more disciplined by accident. They just have more clarity about what matters. 2. Control. This is about managing your environment. You can't focus in chaos. You need boundaries. Digital, physical, and mental. Turn off notifications. Create a clean space. Block time on your calendar. Focus isn't just willpower. It's architecture. 3. Consistency. Focus isn't something you do once. It's a rhythm. Winners train their focus the same way athletes train their body. They practice. They protect it. They build routines that make deep work automatic. The 90-minute sprint method. Let's get practical. Here's one of the best tools winners use for deep focus. The 90-minute sprint. Pick one task. Eliminate all distractions. Set a timer for 90 minutes. Work without switching. Then take a break. Recharge. Repeat if needed. This method works because it aligns with how your brain naturally operates, intense bursts of focus, followed by recovery. You'll be amazed how much more you get done in 90 focused minutes than in 3 scattered hours. A real story. Cal Newport and deep work. Cal Newport, author of Deep Work, studied how top performers succeed. He found that the biggest difference wasn't intelligence. It was uninterrupted, focused time. He calls it deep work, a state where you block out everything else and give full attention to one meaningful task. This kind of work creates real results. It builds mastery. It creates clarity, and it compounds over time. Winners live here, not in notifications, not in endless meetings, not in shallow multitasking, but in deep, focused execution. How to protect your focus daily. Here are a few strategies you can use starting today. 1. Plan the night before. Before you sleep, write down your top 1-3 priorities for tomorrow. This gives your mind a target when you wake up. No guessing, no scrolling, just starting. 2. Create a no list. List out things you're saying no to this season. Projects, habits, or time wasters. Review it often. Every no is space for a better yes. 3. Use time blocks. Dedicate blocks of time for specific types of work. For example, 8 to 10 a.m., creative work, 10 to 11 a.m., admin tasks, 1 to 2 p.m., learning or reading. Train your brain to focus differently. based on the time of day. 4. Build a distraction-free zone. Silence your phone. Use noise-canceling headphones. Tell people when you're unavailable. Focus must be protected, not just hoped for. Focus creates freedom. Some people resist focus. They say it feels rigid or restrictive. But here's the truth. Focus creates freedom. When you focus, you finish faster. You create space for rest. You move with confidence, because you know you're working on what matters. Distraction creates burnout. Focus creates progress. Winners don't just work hard, they work with intention. Bringing it all together, let's recap. Focus is the power to aim your attention and keep it there. Winners don't let the world decide what they pay attention to. They take control. They know consistency turns focus into momentum. So today, decide what matters most. Eliminate what doesn't. And show up fully for the work that counts. Because in the end, the most focused player often becomes the most successful. Clarity is power. Focus is freedom. And attention when aimed with purpose is unstoppable. That's the winner's code. Let's continue. Chapter 9. Action beats perfection. Done is better than perfect. Every great achievement starts the same way, with a single step. But for many people, that first step never happens. Why? Because they're waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect version of themselves. Winners think differently. They know that action beats perfection, every time. In this chapter, we'll explore why overthinking kills momentum, how perfectionism holds you back, and how taking imperfect action is the real key to progress and confidence. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Let's start with a simple truth. Perfection is an illusion. It doesn't exist. You can always make it better. Always find a flaw. Always wait a little longer. But while you're waiting, someone else is doing. And done always beats ideal, but unfinished. Think about it. The book that gets published, even with a few typos, has more impact than the flawless draft that never leaves your laptop. The product that launches today, with version 1, is more valuable than the perfect version that never ships. The speech you give with shaky hands reaches more people than the one you rehearse forever, but never deliver. Perfection delays progress. Action creates it. A story. Reid Hoffman and the imperfect launch. Reid Hoffman, founder of LinkedIn, once said, "If you're not embarrassed by the first version of your product, you launched too late." That sounds strange, but it's true. When LinkedIn launched, it was basic, limited features, no polish, but it was live. That first version gave them feedback, users, and traction. It wasn't perfect, but it was powerful. Hoffman didn't wait to get it right. He just got it started. That mindset built a billion-dollar platform. The real cost of waiting. Perfection doesn't just slow you down. It can stop you completely. It leads to endless editing, constant self-doubt, missed opportunities, overthinking instead of executing, and most of all, it creates regret. Winners don't chase perfection. They chase improvement. They know you can't improve something that doesn't exist. You learn faster when you act. You grow faster when you move. Why we fear imperfect action. If action is so powerful, why do so many people hesitate? There are 3 main reasons. 1. Fear of failure. We worry about messing up, about being judged. But remember, failure is a step forward, not a step back. Every mistake teaches. Every try sharpens your skill. 2. Fear of judgment. We imagine what others will think. But here's the truth. Most people are too busy thinking about themselves to think about you. And those who do criticize from the sidelines, they're not building anything. Winners respect the doers, not the doubters. Unrealistic standards. Perfectionism often comes from comparing ourselves to others. But you don't need to start where someone else finished. Start where you are. That's where everyone begins. How action builds confidence. Many people wait to feel confident before taking action. But the truth is, confidence comes from action. Each time you act, you collect proof. Proof that you're capable. Proof that you can figure things out. Proof that progress is possible. You don't need to believe fully to begin. You just need to begin, and belief will grow from there. A simple tool. The 3-minute rule. Here's a powerful technique to break through hesitation. The 3-minute rule. If you have a task that you're resisting, start it for just 3 minutes. Tell yourself, I'm not committing to finishing. I'm committing to starting. In most cases, once you start, momentum kicks in. Your brain shifts from resistance to rhythm. This rule works with workouts, writing, calls, learning, almost anything. Winners use it to bypass perfectionism and build action into their day. A real story. Sarah Blakely's first prototype. Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx, didn't have a background in fashion or business, but she had an idea. She cut the feet off her pantyhose and created the first version of what would become a billion-dollar brand. No factory, no funding, no polished pitch, just action. She walked into department stores with handmade packaging and asked them to sell it. Most said no. One said yes. That yes changed her life. She didn't wait for the perfect design or perfect timing. She moved, and the market responded. Progress over perfection. Winners focus on iteration, not idealism. They ask, what can I do today that moves this forward? What's the smallest next step I can take? How can I improve this while in motion? They know that version 1 creates version 2, and version 2 is better because it exists. Perfection will always be out of reach. Progress is right in front of you, bringing it all together. Let's recap. Perfection isn't the goal, progress is. Action is what builds momentum, confidence, and clarity. Winners don't wait to feel ready. They move and figure things out as they go. They launch the idea, make the call, write the first page, ship the rough draft, try and try again. And because they act, they grow. So ask yourself today, what am I delaying because I want it to be perfect? What small step could I take right now? What could change if I simply began? Because in the end, the person who acts imperfectly will always outpace the one who waits perfectly. That's the winner's code. Let's move forward. Chapter 10. Resilience in the storm. It's not how hard you hit. It's how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. Storms are a part of life. Disappointments, losses, setbacks, unexpected punches you didn't see coming. You can't avoid them, but you can prepare for them. And winners? They're not stronger because life is easier. They're stronger because they've trained their resilience. Resilience is the ability to bend but not break, to fall but not fold, to hurt but still rise. In this chapter, we'll explore how winners stay grounded in chaos, how to build emotional endurance, and why the storm isn't the end. It's the place where champions are forged. Life will test you. At some point, life will knock the wind out of you. Onrakapuranide lie. Onrakapuranide lie echi, ivridy pi pounted. Onrakapuranide lie. Have the mart like wells. Have the to bit your lies marifostanard. Your growth is not measured by what you avoid. It's measured by how you respond. Winners expect challenges, but they prepare to outlast them. A story. Nelson Mandela's unbreakable spirit. Let's talk about Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years in prison, isolated, mistreated, and cut off from the world. He had every reason to be bitter, angry, or defeated, but he stayed mentally strong, focused, hopeful. When he was finally released, he didn't seek revenge. He led with wisdom. He helped unify a broken nation. That's not just leadership, that's resilience. It's the ability to endure pain without letting it poison your purpose. What resilience is and what it's not. Let's be clear. Resilience is not pretending everything's okay. It's not suppressing pain or faking a smile. Resilience means, and it's built, not born. Why some people break and others bounce back. What makes one person give up and another come back stronger. It's not just mindset, it's how they interpret the storm. Winners do 3 things differently. 1. They frame the pain. They ask, what is this teaching me? What can I control right now? What kind of person do I want to be in this moment? Framing turns chaos into clarity. 2. They seek meaning. Resilient people look for purpose in the pain. They ask, how can I use this to grow? Not why is this happening to me, but what can I do with this? That shift changes everything. 3. They keep moving, even when it's slow, even when it's messy. Winners know that motion, no matter how small, is momentum. Standing still invites fear. Moving forward invites healing. The bounce back blueprint. Here's a 4-step process you can use when life hits hard. Step 1. Pause and breathe. Take a moment. You don't need to fix everything in one day, but you do need to anchor yourself. Breathing grounds your body. It helps you respond, not just react. Step 2. Name what hurts. Call it what it is. Disappointment, rejection, loss. Naming the pain is the first step to healing it. Step 3. Focus on the next right step, not the next 10 steps, not the entire comeback, just one small action. It could be sending an email, making a list, calling someone you trust. The goal is movement, not magic. Step 4. Remind yourself it won't last forever. Every storm passes. Every wound can heal. Every season has its end. Hold on to that truth when your emotions tell you otherwise. A real story. J.K. Rowling and rock bottom. Before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon, J.K. Rowling was broke, depressed, and living as a single mother. She was rejected by 12 publishers. But she didn't stop writing. She once said, "Rock bottom became the solid foundation on which I rebuilt my life." That's resilience. Using failure as fuel, using pain as a platform, and rising when everything said you shouldn't. Building resilience daily. Resilience isn't just for crisis. It's something you train every day. Here's how. 1. Take care of your body. Sleep, nutrition, movement. Physical resilience supports emotional strength. 2. Create emotional anchors. Build practices that calm and center you. Journaling, meditation, prayer, walking in silence. Find what steadies you, and use it often. 3. Strengthen your support system. Talk to people who uplift you. Ask for help when you need it. You're not weak for needing support. You're human. 4. Celebrate your scars. Every time you've survived something tough, you've grown stronger. Look back. You've overcome a lot. That strength didn't disappear. It's still in you, waiting to rise when needed. Bringing it all together. Let's review. Resilience is your ability to rise when things fall apart, to stay grounded when life gets shaky, to move forward even when the path isn't clear. It's not about perfection. It's about presence. Being here, showing up, moving anyway. Winners don't avoid storms. They build shelter. They grow roots. They find strength in the shaking. So whatever you're facing now, or will face later, remember, you were built to rise. You've done it before. You'll do it again. And each storm only proves how unshakable you really are. That's the winner's code. Let's move forward. Chapter 11. Leading from within. You can't lead others until you learn to lead yourself. Leadership isn't about titles. It's not about being the loudest person in the room. It's not about managing people or making big speeches. True leadership starts on the inside. Before you can influence the world, you have to influence your own thoughts, habits, and choices. Winners understand this. They don't just build skills, they build character. They don't just chase success, they build stability. In this chapter, we'll explore how the greatest leaders don't just lead teams, movements, or companies. They lead themselves, first. The misunderstood meaning of leadership. When most people hear the word leader, they think of someone in charge. A CEO, a coach, a politician, a boss. But leadership has nothing to do with position. It has everything to do with personal responsibility. You don't have to manage people to lead. You don't even need a formal role. You lead every day, through your actions, your standards, your integrity. The question isn't, are you a leader? The question is, are you leading your own life with intention? A story. The quiet leader in the locker room. Let's look at an example from sports. In every team, there's usually one player who isn't the captain, isn't the most vocal, but sets the tone through work ethic, humility, and presence. When things go wrong, they stay calm. When no one's watching, they still show up. They don't need attention. They earn respect because they live the values the team talks about. That's real leadership. It doesn't have to be loud, but it has to be authentic. Why inner leadership comes first. You can't control everything in life. You can't control the economy. You can't control how people treat you. You can't even control outcomes all the time. But you can control how you respond. You can control your standards, your discipline, your attitude. Leading from within means being anchored in who you are, no matter what's happening around you. That's what gives winners their edge. They don't need conditions to be perfect. They lead anyway. The 4 pillars of self-leadership. There are 4 pillars that every great self-leader builds. Let's break them down. Understanding your triggers. Recognizing your values. Seeing your blind spots. It starts with asking yourself honest questions. Why did I react that way? What am I avoiding? What really matters to me? The better you know yourself, the better you can lead yourself. 2. Self-discipline. This is the bridge between what you want and what you do. It's waking up on time, keeping your word, training when you don't feel like it, following through even when no one's watching. Discipline isn't glamorous, but it's the foundation of credibility. People trust those who lead themselves first. 3. Emotional maturity. Leaders don't just react, they respond. Emotional maturity means staying grounded in chaos. It means not letting ego drive decisions. It means admitting when you're wrong and learning from it. Winners don't avoid emotion. They master it. 4. Purpose-driven action. Self-leaders move with intention. They don't chase approval. They don't drift. They ask, what's the bigger mission here? And they align their daily choices with that mission on purpose. A real story. Abraham Lincoln's inner compass. Abraham Lincoln is remembered as one of history's greatest leaders, but his strength didn't come from charm or charisma. It came from inner depth. He battled depression. He faced incredible criticism. He led a divided country through its darkest hour. But through it all, he stayed anchored in purpose and principle. He said, nearly all men can stand adversity. But if you want to test a man's character, give him power. Lincoln led from within, and because of that, he led with wisdom, restraint, and vision. How to lead yourself daily. Let's make this practical. Here are 4 ways to lead from within, starting today. 1. Start with morning clarity. Before the world grabs your attention, grab your focus. Ask yourself, who do I want to be today, regardless of what happens? Even 5 minutes of reflection can shift your entire day. 2. Make integrity your default. Keep your promises, even the small ones. If you say you'll exercise, do it. If you commit to a meeting, show up on time. If you set a boundary, hold it. Integrity is the habit that builds trust in yourself and in others. 3. Pause before you react. When emotions run high, slow down. Ask, Roses, that's who I want to be right now? What response aligns with my values? That pause is where leadership lives. 4. Reflect regularly. Great leaders don't just move, they review. At the end of the day or week, ask, Roses, what went well? Where did I lead with strength? Where can I grow next? Self-leadership is a lifelong conversation with yourself. You can influence more than you think. You don't need a team of employees to lead. You lead, Roses, when you stay calm in conflict, when you choose honesty over convenience, when you help someone without needing credit, when you lead your thoughts instead of letting fear lead them. You are always leading something. The question is, where are you leading it? Bringing it all together. Let's review. True leadership starts on the inside. It's not about image, it's about alignment. Self-leadership is built on awareness. Awareness, discipline, emotional strength. 4. It's what gives you the strength to guide others, because you've already guided yourself. So today, ask, ironically, am I leading with clarity? Are my actions aligned with my values? Am I showing up for myself before I try to show up for others? Because in the end, you can't lead a team, a business, or a movement until you lead your thoughts, habits, and heart. That's the winner's code. Let's keep going. Chapter 12. Legacy over likes. Do something today that will still matter tomorrow. We live in a world addicted to attention. Likes, follows, shares, trends. But when the noise fades, when the spotlight shifts, what remains? Legacy. Likes are temporary. Legacy is eternal. Winners don't just chase applause. They build something that lasts. In this final chapter, we'll explore what it means to live for legacy. You'll learn how to shift your focus from popularity to purpose, from impressions to impact, and how to make choices today that future generations will thank you for. The culture of now. Today, people are chasing validation faster than ever. You post something online, it gets attention, then it disappears. You trend one week, you're forgotten the next. And in that cycle, it's easy to confuse being seen with being significant. But winners know the difference. They don't just want to go viral. They want to go deep. They don't just want to be liked. They want to be remembered for the right reasons. A story. Chadwick Boseman's quiet impact. Chadwick Boseman was known around the world as Black Panther. But what most people didn't know was that he was battling cancer while filming his most iconic roles. He didn't announce it. He didn't ask for sympathy. He focused on the work, the message, the mission. But what followed was powerful. Thousands shared how his strength, humility, and courage changed their lives. He didn't live for likes. He lived for legacy. What legacy really means. Legacy isn't about money. It's not about fame or fortune. It's not about being remembered by millions. It's about being remembered by the right people for the right reasons. Legacy is the values you live by, the lives you impact, the message you stand for, the example you leave behind. It's how your life echoes into the lives of others. Why likes can be dangerous. Here's the trap. When you live for likes, you start performing instead of growing, pleasing instead of leading, competing instead of creating, conforming instead of being real. And worst of all, you lose yourself in the process. Winners know that not everyone will understand their path, but they stay on it anyway, because they're not here to be liked by everyone. They're here to live with intention. A real story. Mother Teresa's quiet legacy. Mother Teresa wasn't famous because she tried to be. She didn't post her good deeds. She didn't ask for praise. She simply showed up for people the world ignored, and in doing so, she changed lives, communities, and generations. That's legacy. Living in alignment with your calling, serving with humility, caring deeply and quietly about what matters most. How to live for legacy. Here are 4 powerful ways to start building a legacy-driven life. 1. Define your core values. What do you want your life to stand for? Kindness? Courage? Wisdom? Excellence? Write them down. Live by them every day. Let them guide your decisions when the crowd is loud. 2. Shift your scoreboard. Instead of counting likes, followers, or sales, track things like integrity kept, people helped, skills mastered, promises honored. Legacy is measured by what you build, not what you broadcast. 3. Be consistent off camera. What you do when no one's watching is who you really are. Do you show up fully for your work? Do you treat people with respect when there's nothing to gain? Do you keep your standards high when the pressure is low? That's where legacy is built, in the quiet, private places. 4. Invest in people, not just performance. Pour into others. Teach, mentor, encourage, help someone else rise. Because true winners lift as they climb. You won't be here forever, but your impact can be. One day, your career will end. Your trophies will collect dust. Your numbers will stop mattering. But your legacy, how you made people feel, what you stood for, who you helped, will still speak. Winners live with the end in mind, not in fear but with focus. They ask, what will still matter when I'm no longer here? What will my choices today say about me tomorrow? They lead, not for attention, but for transformation. Bringing it all together. Let's recap. Likes are fleeting. Legacy is forever. Winners don't just live loud. They live true. They trade hype for meaning, validation for values, clicks for contribution. So today, ask yourself, am I chasing attention or living with intention? Am I performing or planting seeds that will grow after I'm gone? What will the people I impact say about my life when I'm no longer in the room? Because in the end, it's not how many people knew your name. It's how many lives were better because you showed up. That's how you leave a mark. That's how you win the long game. That's the code. Thank you for listening to The Winner's Code. Now, go live it. Conclusion. Write your winning code. You have everything it takes. Now it's time to take everything you've learned and live it. This book was never just about theory. It was about action, ownership, transformation. You've explored what makes a winner. You've seen how belief shapes behavior, how purpose outlasts pressure, how discipline, resilience, and clarity create momentum, and how your legacy matters more than attention. But none of it means anything unless you write your own code, your standard. The winner's code isn't a one-size-fits-all formula. It's not a script you copy. It's a standard you choose. You decide what excellence looks like for you. You decide what values you'll live by. You decide how you'll show up when it's easy and when it's not. This is your life, your journey, your responsibility. So don't just admire what others have done. Define what you will do. You already have the tools. Here's the truth. You don't need to wait for permission. You don't need to wait until you feel 100% ready. You already have the mindset, the lessons, the ability. What you need now is the decision to believe, the decision to act, the decision to lead your life from the inside out. You've read the code, you've heard the stories, you've seen what's possible. Now it's your turn to apply it. Write it, live it, share it. Write your code in how you think, in how you speak, in how you treat others, in how you lead when no one's watching, in the standards you uphold and the excuses you let go. Then live it boldly, not perfectly, but intentionally, and share it, not by preaching, but by embodying it. Let your life speak so clearly that others feel stronger just by being near you. That's how winners create impact. That's how leaders leave legacy. Final words. So what now? You move forward, step by step, choice by choice, code in hand, heart engaged. You're not here to just survive. You're here to win with clarity, courage, and character. Because the world doesn't just need more noise. It needs more examples, more builders, more doers, more people who live by something deeper. That person is you. Write your code, live it well, and let the world feel the impact of a life truly led. This is the winner's code.